of sorts.
Of sorts, yes. This is the second episode of KittenNap podcast. This time we're talking about classic literature. Literature. Yes.
Literature.
Yes. I got some books I have read in the past that are classic, but you have more than I have,
Yeah.
so we're gonna talk about that. Um, so what should we start off with? Should we start off with
Okay.
yours? Because you said you have some interesting books that you have been reading.
I do, yeah. So one of that I recently read is I'm sure you probably heard this and people watching have probably heard about this one as well. But it's Dracula by Bram Stoker. You know,
Uh,
ye old classic Dracula.
yes. I haven't read it, but I heard of it. Yes, yes.
It is better
So
than Frankenstein. I can tell you.
how
Frankenstein
how so? How
was
so? I do want to know now.
Frank okay, so Frankenstein was boring. The only interesting parts of that book was when it was from the monster's point or the creature's point of view. Because
Okay.
his creature talks about like learning how to speak and like learning how to read and like learning about fire and things like that on his own.
Hmm.
And it's just interesting from that point of view. And then you have Victor, the main the the doctor Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He's all like, "Oh, poor me. Why did I make this creature? Blah blah blah.
Oh, woe's me! I have
Woe
created
was
a
me.
creature.
This is my
Oh
fault. But
no.
if I say that, everyone will think I'm crazy."
Yeah.
So
Okay, so then why is Dracula better than Frankenstein then?
because it's not boring. I didn't find Dracula boring. And also, a cool thing about it is how it switches perspectives from the characters is through their journal entries, and each of them are in order. And as you go out through the book, there's one that takes place from Mina's point of view,
Hmm.
and she actually talks about putting each of their journal entries in order, and you're like, oh, that's
Wow.
why it's like that's why it's like in journal entry form. It's because they're putting together like this kind of like dossier of Dracula and like how they're
Hmm.
fighting him and things like that. So that's
Some
actually
type of foreshadowing, but
once
not
that
really
light bulb
foreshadowing.
went off, it was like, oh,
Wow.
that's really cool.
Yes, yes, yes. The big brain. Oh, wow. How did we not know?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the literatures I have read, when I was like, I don't know, a couple of like years, maybe, I don't know, 3 years, I was like, you know what, I'm bored. I'm gonna read Alice in Wonderland. And
I haven't read
so,
it.
I know, I read it. It took a while to finish because I kept getting distracted with other things, but I finished it. But basically, it just talks about just how she goes through Wonderland. It's just like the cartoon, but in the Disney version, it doesn't go off about more about let's say one was I'm gonna say the turtle guy and the griffin. They never were part of the
Of the
Disney.
Disney film. No, I'm
No.
sitting here like,
Yeah.
no, I only remember the caterpillar guy.
Yeah. There's was other parts like the lady and the pig and she smelled like pepper, always pepper. And I was like, I till this day I never understood why that room was filled with pepper.
Hmm.
But there is one film I do appreciate and I'll put it up on screen. It's the I don't remember what year, but I think it's the 19 somewhere in the 1990s film. of Alice in Wonderland live action, not the one that everyone knows, like
With Johnny Depp,
you with
the Mad
Johnny
Hatter.
Depp. Yeah, no, it's not that one. It's the they full on went grabbed everything in the books and shoved it into that movie, and I appreciate that so much because they full on went detail on it the best I can, even though why did I say best I can? The best they can. I don't know why I said I. That's so weird. Um, with the effects because back then 1990s, I don't think their effects were that great, but they did it so well that like I appreciate it. I believe they added who is it? Oh no. I forgot his name. Ah, crap. Ah, okay, I'm just gonna insert the name somewhere on this video. Yeah.
The magic of editing.
Yes, the magic of editing. And I'll send it to you of who I was talking about. But he played the Mad Hatter, and they literally made his head so big. I'm like, what? From Johnny Depp, they just made his eyes big. No, they full on got his head huge. But it was so perfect for the role too. And now I'm like, every time I watch him in any film now, I'm just like, yeah, I just see him as a big head now with just a hat, straw hat. But through on Alice in Wonderland, I guess it's like in the books is better. Don't, even though the Disney version is like, oh yeah, it's better, but read the books. It won't make sense, but somehow it made sense to me. So we're that's I don't know how that book got me to be like, yes, that makes so sense. Just read the book. It's really good. You should read it.
I know it's on my list to read for
Yes.
sure.
It's like I believe it's free in like books on phone. I got it free on books on phone.
Hmm.
So I think it's still free. I could be wrong, but who knows? I'm hoping it's I hope it's free by this point. Yeah. What other books have you been reading as
So one that
well?
I read while I was in Seattle for my friend's wedding, one of them I got at the Barnes and Noble up there was
Oh,
Carmilla. I can't remember who it's by. I have to look up the name.
I was gonna I
Um,
was gonna say
it's by
foreshadowing of something.
Sheridan Le Fan. I'm probably saying it completely wrong, but it's by Sheridan Le Fanu. I'm probably saying it completely wrong, but
Okay.
basically on the cover it's like the book that inspired Dracula, and that's what caught my attention. And so I was like, okay, and
Hmm.
I read it, and I'm like, okay. So So you know how Dracula sets the rules, like they can't be invited in without they can't come in without being invited,
Oh
and they
yeah,
have to
yeah.
sleep on home soil.
Okay, yeah.
Carmilla, how do I explain this?
Doesn't do that?
It like sets the like boundaries of it. Doesn't mention anything about having so Camilla is only seen at night, so there's that part of it. She like sleeps during the day, and she's like
Hmm.
very seductive toward the main character. And basically doing that part of vampires where they're seductive and things like that. So it's
Okay.
like finding out, oh, she's like an vampire, ancient person who's been alive for thousands of years. So
Okay. So she's like Dracula, but not like
yeah, it's like the
Dracula.
female version of Dracula. And also, one thing I found really cool is that they're in the Castlevania Netflix series. I don't
Hmm.
know if you've seen it or not, but there's a character
Yeah, I
called
heard of it.
Camilla, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Not like those two characters are nothing alike, but I was still like, oh, that's cool. They share the same name.
But they're like totally different.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
okay. It's like I seen little clips of it, but I haven't watched it. But it's on my watch list to watch.
It's good. I definitely recommend it.
Yes.
Camilla opens with like describing the hometown of the main character, and
Hmm.
then literally Carmilla's carriage crashes in the middle of their town, and
Just,
Carmilla's mother abandons her.
just like
And the
she
main
did.
character and her father bring her in, and people around, well, mainly the women around town start getting sick.
Yo, she just went. She like it's like a car crash. She just hit and run. That's what happened.
Pretty much.
Hit and run and
I
leave
had to
your
stop.
daughter
I had
behind.
to stop and read that part again. I was like, did their carriage literally just crashed in the middle of their town?
And just leaves her freaking
Yeah, it
kid.
just leaves. Like and the mom. I think it's been a while since I read it, and I think the mom was like, "Oh, I have to go. I have to be here," or I believe something like that. And she's like, "I
Just
can't wait for her to recover."
she's dead. She's dead.
It's
Oh
like,
wow.
no, she was still alive. Like she at least made sure she was still alive, but
What? Oh my god. That
I
makes it
may be
more sad.
remembering completely wrong, but it's
I think it's
basically
so
how it
sad.
starts is her carriage crashes in the middle of the town.
Hit and run.
I
Oh,
don't think they hit anybody. I think it literally just crashes.
it's a ghost cart. That's what happened. They hit a ghost cart and now it's like a hit and run. The ghost is fine. Not the cart. Retry. Ah,
There I
you're
am.
back.
Okay.
You're back. Hey, welcome back from the blurry void of chaos.
From the chaos.
From the chaos. Yes. Let's see. Ooh, the Odyssey. I think every high schooler read the Odyssey.
Mhm. Mind you, I don't remember it because that was how long ago.
Yeah, mine I'm gonna give you like a full like little summary of it, I guess, of my
Mhm.
memory. Dude goes on boat, goes to fight some people, uses ship to make horse cart, gets in with his people of army people men. They go into the town, city. Everyone's partying. They think they won. Then they sneak in. They kill
Oh, the
everyone.
Trojan horse.
Yeah, I think it's that. Yes. And then Poseidon, I guess, gets angry at him for doing that, and so they go on the boat, and then they go and see like wasn't there like a monster with like a lot of like snake heads? Yeah.
Medusa.
No, it's like it's like
A
it's
gor
not
a
Medusa.
gorgon.
I don't know. I'll just put
Hmm.
an image of what I'm talking about after I when I edit. But it's that thing, and it killed like a couple of the men, and then it's like I think one was like wasn't there like a cyclops they
Yeah,
have
I
to
know
take
they
care of?
caught. I know. Yeah, I know they fight a cyclops.
Yeah. And then wasn't there mermaids, some sort, sirens, or
I
was
think
it?
so. It's been
We're
too
gonna say
long.
so. And then he had a thing with Cersei. I believe it's Cersei. Unless I'm like full on like, yeah, it's
That sounds
DC.
about right.
Yeah, I think it, yeah. And then he's like, oh no, I can't. But at the end, I guess it's just like everyone in the ship dies and he was the only survivor, I guess. Did he come back home? I don't remember if he got back home.
I don't remember. I was high school.
I know, that's the only thing I
I
can
think that
sum of
was
that.
freshman year, freshman sophomore year,
Yeah, freshman year, actually, yeah.
which was a while ago for me.
Yeah, mine was actually a couple of years ago, and I still don't remember it because don't want to remember the projects I had to deal with.
Ugh.
I never finished my project, but I still got a good A on it. It's fine. But yeah, Odyssey is like every high schooler knows it.
Mhm.
It's the most like you have to read. There's no questions asked. Okay, what other books have you been reading as well?
I'm currently in the middle of reading Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Fancy name, fancy name.
It's it it was written by in Russian originally, and then it
Oh,
got translated into English, which Penguin Classics, I don't understand why they did this, but I have the hardcover and the paperback version of Crime and Punishment.
mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. The hardcover and the paperback are two different translations, I think.
Oh no.
Because
They're
I
like,
got all the way to part 5, chapter 2,
mm-hmm,
and then I switched to the paperback, and I'm able to understand the paperback more than
mm-hmm.
the hardcover.
They just want to do both, you know.
So I don't
They
understand why they have two different translations, but
they just want to do both. They're just like, they both look good. Let's just put them on the shelves. It's fine. Yeah,
anyway,
translating books is hard.
yeah. But anyway, so now I have the fancy hardcover on my
Oh,
shelf.
yes. Yes, the
So the
fancy.
story goes there's this ex-Russian student named Raskolnikov,
Mm-hmm.
and he was I think he was supposed to be like in school to be a lawyer or something.
Okay,
Uh,
let's go lawyer.
anyway, so he's an ex-student, and he's going through some hard times with money. So he starts getting this idea in his head to
Mhm.
go and murder the pawnbroker that lives nearby
It's like,
and rob him.
how to solve my problems? Go murder the guy.
So I can't remember her name. It's a Russian name too, so it's probably not gonna be easy to remember. Yeah, I don't remember, but the elderly pawnbroker,
Okay.
nobody likes her. She has a bad reputation, so Raskolnikov gets it in his head that he'll be doing a service as well as helping himself.
As always.
So at the end of the first part, he ends up going through with it, murdering her and robbing from her. But he doesn't just murder her; he murders her sister
Oh
as well.
yeah. Oh no.
So and then he goes to the rest of the book, um, trying to justify what he did, and try to go through the mental part of that. It's like, should I turn myself in? Da 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 da. Should I
Uh,
not?
the guilt
So
after the
yeah,
cause.
it's interesting going through like the mind of the criminal, like what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like the whole guilt, and now you're like, oh well, he's having
Yeah,
problems. I guess I'll just read, see what happens.
it's good. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
Get the paperback version. It's definitely an easier read for sure.
Yeah, it's like one book I did read. It's not a classic, but it's like it was translated in German. And so some things I'm like, okay, I don't know what street this person's in now. Some of the words were like a little off. It made no sense. Like the grammar wasn't right. And so I was just like, okay, I'll read it. I got to half of the book before I realized I don't think it's getting anywhere. And so I gave up on the book and had to return it in the library and get a new one because I'm like, if I'm falling asleep by this point, no, I'm gonna find a different book and had to go and I found a different book. So,
Classics are definitely not easy reads unless you like go into it knowing what you're going to read, if that makes sense.
oh
Like it's
yeah, full on
like, oh,
different.
this is a classic, it's probably going to be a hard read.
Hmm.
So what I do for Crime and Punishment when I'm reading it, I put on Russian like classical music, like themed. I
Hmm.
have a whole playlist of it, and it helps me like focus and like get into the world.
Yeah. So it's like, ah, yes, I feel very fancy. And then you have like a nice top hat, nice outfit. Just, yes, yes. Little fake little mustache. Oh, yes, quite. It's,
Right.
fancy. Quite, quite. I'll just put a little image of me with a mustache. It's fine.
Mustache.
Mustache, yes, yes, quite. It's like I have a book that I got from my grandpa, and it's the Winnie the Pooh, and I think I got I think it's the, oh no, I think it's the 133rd um edition, I believe. I could be
Of
wrong.
like the
Of the
original
book, of the
of the.
original.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's 1944. So I could say it's kind of classic. I'm gonna
That's
say
that's a
I just
classic for
I
sure.
haven't read it. I have not read it, but I will read it. It's just on my shelf right now, existing, just staring down at me like, when are you going to read
Yeah, I have the whole City of Bones series staring at me right now,
me?
and I need to read as well as one of the books.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
when the
that's it.
book starts
I want
staring
to get to
down at you.
Percy Jackson. I need to finish the Percy Jackson series.
Yeah, it's the part when the books just stare down at you. It's like, you gotta read me. You have to read
I don't
it.
have a bookshelf. I have a trophy shelf.
Yo, that's much better. Actually, place your books at a trophy. Yes. I have a full-on bookshelf with just like manga and some
Oh yeah,
books I
no, I
got
have a
as a
whole shelf
kid.
full. I like one of my shelf is dedicated to manga. It's mainly Demon Slayer.
I got,
I have all of them except the last one.
I think I got Rinyu Kenshin. I don't know where my Bleach books went. They went somewhere. They're in a box, and I don't know where they are. Me and like my family have been looking for like that box, and because I asked for help to just find it, and I just can't find it. It's so sad. I don't know where it is. I know I put it in
I
a box
have
somewhere.
the first two Tokyo Ghoul ones. I have the first Seven Deadly Sins, the first Promised Neverland, and I think the
Mhm,
first. I have the first. I think that's the first five of My Hero, and
mhm,
then the first Jujutsu Kaisen, and the first Black Butler, and the two Ocarina of Time
mhm.
manga. I
That's
think
more than
that's
what
it.
I have. So I have like you know, like those really like thick like ones where it's like they put all the little small
Mm-hmm.
little together. So I got three of those, 1 6, 1 6 8, and then I have the tiny versions, like the ones that are like separate, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, no 15, no 16, and 17. That's
And
all
this
I
is for
got.
what series?
Rurouni Kenshin. It's really good. I feel
I'll
like
have to look into it.
it should be a classic. It should be.
Have you read the Cruel Prince series?
No, I have not.
That is another recommendation that I have. I have all three. They're very good.
You're like, I have all
The
three.
second one is definitely my favorite out of all
Mhm.
three. But I'm not gonna
Okay.
give spoilers to why. But it's the Wicked King. It's my favorite
Ooh.
one out of those three.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. Very nice, very nice. Ooh, the Shakespeare thing in school. Still classic literature, but still, everyone had to read it and not
Hmm.
understand what it is.
Yeah, I remember reading Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wasn't that in like freshman year?
I think so.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I just witnessed like two teenagers decide to just die because they love each other. I'm like, I hope that doesn't happen
I
in
know.
school.
Shakespeare didn't write it to be a love story, you know.
He
He
wants
wrote
to
it to be a
say,
warning, like, hey, they die at the end. Maybe you should think about this for a minute.
yeah, maybe it's like a warning saying like, hey, yeah, you can fall in love. It's fine, but don't assume someone's dead yet,
Yeah.
or maybe communicate with others, or
Yeah. Communication definitely.
and don't fall in love too fast. That's just gonna cause a little bit
Yeah,
some
I think
problems.
that's like the moral. It's like
Don't fall too
Don't fall in
fast.
love too fast.
I think that's what it is.
But also, yeah, it's like they both die at the end. So yeah, it's definitely not a love story. It's a
It was
tragedy.
for a bit, but then it's just tragic.
It's a tragedy.
And then there was what was the other one? I got it.
Hamlet.
Hamlet. Yep, there's Hamlet. That guy exists. I haven't read it, but heard of it, and I'm just like, man, so much people
You
died.
know Disney's Lion King, right? The animated one.
Yeah. Don't no.
Think about it.
Is it
It's
actually?
basically Hamlet.
They just full on let Hamlet, but
If
for
you think about
kids.
it. Think
Hamlet
about
for
it.
kids.
His
Oh,
Simba's uncle ends up trying to marry his mom.
oh crap! Yeah,
Yeah, if you think about it.
my brain was like, oh no, they're just being
The Lion
friends
King is basically Disney's Hamlet.
for kids. No, oh, everything I know is a lie. I just thought it was just some lines just being like, nah, this is not right. And I'm like, yeah, that's not right. And it's like, oh, no, that's bad.
Yeah, after we finished reading Hamlet, I don't remember who I had for
For whatever
English,
school.
but whoever teacher I had, she put it on, and we were all like, and she told us that, and now I'm like, oh, yeah, she was right.
Just after you read the book, it gets like the realization, oh, the Lion King is Hamlet, but kid
Basically, if you think
version.
about it and do the connections and everything.
Yeah, and in better English for kids to understand. Okay, the uncle hated the dad. Dad dies. Now main
Yeah, the
character's
uncle
sad.
killed his dad so he could be king.
Yeah, he becomes king,
Same
and
thing
then
happens in The Lion King.
yeah, just like oh. And then that one song that gets stuck in everyone's head. Do you feel the love tonight? Just hit that. That's not in Hamlet, but you know,
Nope.
we can all believe.
Sadly, it'll feel. Oh, um, what was it? What was it? Oh, I watched Rosaline.
Mhm.
Basically, basically Romeo and Juliet from Rosaline's point of view. It was actually very
Uh,
funny. I don't know if you've seen it,
I
but it
should
made me
watch it
laugh. It
now.
made me laugh. It was good.
I should watch it now. Because when you said that, I'm like, yep, I want to see this now.
So yeah, I've seen the Ophelia movie as well. I think.
It's
I think
somewhere.
that was
Maybe it's in the
good.
brain
No, I
somewhere.
have. Yes, I have. It's good. It's
You're
fun.
like, maybe,
I don't
no,
remember.
yes,
Maybe.
yes, maybe. It's like, ah, no, it's a yes. Like, full on yes,
No.
no, maybe yes,
Yeah.
yes. And now we're going with yes now. Oh, what was the other Shakespeare one? It's with the three witches, and it's this dude who's like wanting to know his like future or something. I don't
I don't think I
remember.
know that one.
I was talking with my aunt about this. I don't know why I said Moby Dick. That's not even. It's a classical, but I haven't read that. And it's not Shakespeare. What is
Mm-mm.
it? So three witches, and it's with the woman, his wife, the main character's wife. Like after like what they did, I think they killed the king, and then they blamed the king's sons that they did it and banished them, and then became king, but then his wife gets like, I don't know, schizophrenic or something. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but she thinks that there's blood on her hands, and so she keeps washing her hands all the time and going crazy because of it, because of the guilt. I don't remember what it is, but it was the
Know that one.
because I watched it in senior year, and it the teacher put it on it was more the kind of more modern a bit, but it's with the person who plays Professor X in um in Marvel, the X-Men,
The
in the
younger
cheer.
one, or
The older one. Old bald guy in the wheelchair. He plays that guy. That's
uh
the only thing I can remember. You can search it up for me. My brain's just like
uh
me don't remember.
yeah, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, one of he plays. I
Let's see.
found out from my aunt he plays a lot of like theater of Shakespeare, so he was familiar with the movie part. It was, I think they
Is
said
it
it in
the
World War Two.
can? This is probably not it, but the Canterville Ghost?
No, I feel like it's with an M.
Macbeth?
Macbeth. Yes,
Macbeth.
it's
Okay.
Macbeth. I was like, I'm not gonna say this weird word of some word. I was gonna say like Michael or something, even though it's not even
No.
close. It's like, the story about Michael.
No, it's
Yeah,
Macbeth.
that I recall very much, and I'm just like,
I know there's
how?
another version of Macbeth.
Yeah, there's like,
Um,
it was interesting. What would it be?
uh, with Michael Fassbender.
Okay,
I think that's the one. Anyway, I know there's another one, but
yeah,
I've
I
heard of
was.
it, but I have not watched them, so I'm definitely gonna have to.
Yeah, it's interesting film, I'm gonna say, because when watching it, it's like, yeah, I was like, whatever age I was, a senior. I was like, okay, yeah, it's MA, but it looked rated R from like what was happening and how much death and blood they added in.
It probably is. I mean, I
Yeah,
just had it up, but I'm
yeah.
not gonna bring that up.
My
But
teacher's like, yeah, you'll be fine. That's our school system for you. Just, yeah, you'll be fine. Oh gosh. But I think that's the only like Shakespeare I read so far of those. It's just high school.
I know Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet.
Yep, yep. And like Macbeth.
I don't know that one. I'll definitely have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, it's just they should put Shakespeare in English. I need to translate. I'm not translating the whole friggin' Shakespeare
I
because
think
I just
if
need English.
you look up like Romeo and Juliet modernized, I think there's like a website that already has it done, and you can just go on there and read it.
Okay, good, because oh my gosh, I made no sense in Shakespeare. If I went back in time, met Shakespeare, and he starts putting these plays in, I'm just gonna be like, nope, sorry, I do not understand anything you just said.
There's a movie. It's called. I think it's called Shakespeare in Love, or it's called Young Shakespeare.
Okay,
Let me.
I know in Doctor Who they added Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's called Shakespeare in Love. It's another good one.
Yes.
It's basically goes through of him writing Romeo and Juliet and his inspiration for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then there's Doctor Who one. I think it's is it Doctor Who? Is it? Maybe. Yes.
I do
No.
not know.
I could be wrong. Or it could be um what was that DC show that was on for a while? It's where like some of the DC characters like Adam and that one fire guy that merges with two people, I believe. They go back in time or forward in time.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes, that one. Thank you. Yes, that one. I have not seen that for a while. I think they also visit Shakespeare as well. Yeah, I think that one
Eh,
is the one I seen. Yeah.
I stopped watching that as soon as they killed off Captain Cold.
They did? Dude, you just spoiled it for me. I know.
Oh, sorry, I didn't
I'm
go
kidding. No,
anywhere.
no, no. I was very far. I gave up because I kept missing the times when it like gets on TV
Hmm.
because life,
Yeah.
just life in general.
Life.
Yeah, just life. And it's just like, ugh, I remember just watching a bunch of DC just shows all the time. And then I just stopped because I kept forgetting that what time and day it's on. It's like Flash, Supergirl,
Mm.
Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow,
I
Gotham.
need to
Gotham was a
watch all.
thing.
I mean, Gotham was good.
I agree. I
It was
haven't watched
really good.
everything, but I watched clippets of it, and I'm proud for what they did. They added characters that is like, okay, yeah, you don't see them a lot in like any of the live
The
action
regular universe,
shows,
yeah.
yeah, or even though you can see them in animated, depending on which one you see. But I'm glad they added some of those peoples, even though I don't know if it's in the same universe or is it just in the Gotham universe.
But it was just in Gotham.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say maybe it's just in the Gotham universe. I think they're working on a Pennyworth or Alfred show. That's gonna be interesting.
That good, yeah.
I think they're doing that actually.
I'd
And then there's
watch it.
Batwoman. There's Batwoman too. It's like
I
I
have not watched it. I don't think I
there
will.
is I got confused at some things because I was like, hold up, her like nemesis or something I believe is a person named Alice, and it's supposed to be like I think she's supposed to be like the Mad Hatter, but not. She's
I'm
more of
not the one to
Alice.
ask about that. You'll have to ask
I think we gotta ask
the other
Monkey,
redhead.
the monkey girl, Anna.
She'd be
Um,
the one to ask, not me.
yeah, I think it's that because every time I like look at the episodes, it always reference some sort of like with just her and Alice of sort of way.
Hmm.
And then there's that whole like, oh yeah, there's like I did some research on those episodes for a while, finding out that the original Mad Hatter guy, Jervis Tesh, is dead, and some guy named L. Candles guy became the next one. He just decides to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna live stream everyone's death. Okay, nothing's wrong with. Okay, something's wrong with you.
That's definitely sounds like something Mad Hatter would do.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna
I
live stream
mean,
your death. Yeah, because he was like obsessed with Alice, aka the main bad guy of sorts. But she's like, you know what? I'm gonna like literally puts it, stab him in the back, but he survives, so he's okay. He's just in prison. It took me a while. I thought he dead. Nah, just
dead.
got stabbed. I got stabbed in the back. That's it. He dead. He laying on the
He
ground dead.
did.
He dead.
He did.
He did. But yeah. I think that's the only the classic literature. I said common literature. I'm like, that's not right. Classic literature that I know. Do you have any more that you
There was
have?
one more that I wanted to talk about.
Ah,
I have to
yes.
pull up. Uh, so have you seen or heard of the picture of Dorian Gray?
Is it something with? I think I know. I think I know what you're talking about. Is it with that guy who like he can't see his like picture because then he'll grow old because the picture was growing old or something like that? Is it something with that?
You're not far, but I watched the 2009 movie with Ben Barnes
Okay.
before I'm reading the book. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you know Ben Barnes. He's Prince Caspian in the Narnia movies. So
Oh crap, seriously?
seriously,
Oh my god.
which is funny because I believe in the book Dorian is portrayed with like golden blonde hair, and then there's Ben Barnes over here with his black hair. Anyway, so Dorian is this young, handsome young man who I believe he goes to, I think it's London or New York, like big city.
Mm-hmm. Big city.
And this artist paints a portrait of him. And basically, Dorian sells his soul to stay young and beautiful like his portrait forever.
Okay.
And with everything he does, every time he sins or does something sinful, the picture reveals what his soul actually looks like. So he actually ends up locking it up in his attic so no one will see it.
So how did he figure it out without like, looking at it?
Oh, he had to like go up and look at it and notice, and then he eventually locks it up in his attic so nobody else will see it.
So is it something with if someone sees it, then everything goes down,
I don't
right?
think it's that. I just don't think he wanted anybody else to see like how like depraved his soul really was.
Yeah. But then didn't he like die of some sort of way? Like became what the portrait was? Reverse.
I believe he ends up. This is the movie. I don't know. I haven't read the book. It's on my shelf. I have it. I need to read
It's
it.
just
Anyway,
it's right there.
he ends up stabbing the picture with the sword, and he ends up dying.
Oh well, he's
Or it
dead.
gets or it gets lit on fire. I think he
Oh, what of
stabs it,
above?
and then somebody else lights it on fire. Don't
All of
remember.
above. All of above.
Either or. Anyway, he ends up dead.
Yeah. I think I was familiar with that. What was that movie? It's with I think it was Von Helsing and his like assistant, I believe. And he hired some of the monsters like Jekyll and Hyde.
That's
Not
another
not
classic I want to read.
yes. The Invisible Man.
Mm.
Dracula, but it's the woman. So the woman, she said that her husband died. So I guess Dracula died or something. She's a vampire. Then there was who was the other? Him, the guy with the painting. He existed.
Picture of Dorian Gray.
Yes. And then who was the other one? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember, but I don't remember. I feel like there's another person. I don't believe so, but they were both together to go and stop somebody bad. And what they didn't know was there was someone that was a spy in there. And guess who it is? It's Dorian, as always. Yeah, he basically stole Jekyll and Hyde's serum. I have to put two together because they are two people in one body. So I'm gonna say both of them. And then he got the Invisible Man's blood sample, maybe. Even though you don't see the much of Invisible guy because invisible.
Yeah, he's invisible.
Yeah. And then the vampire lady, he seduced. So he had to seduce her to get like her blood or something. Like she like cut herself or something. And he's like, "Oh, let
What?
me help you."
Yeah, that sounds like something Dorian would do.
Yeah.
I'm
And
watching
takes
the
the
movie.
blood and yeah, something like that. I don't remember the name. I'll put it up on screen. I'll also show it to you as well later if I find it. But it's that movie, and I watched it multiple times because I don't know why I just like it.
I'll
It's
have to watch
great.
it. It's called Van Helsing or
I don't know.
proper
It's
name
like
here.
they have Van Helsing in there, but I don't know if it is. I don't think it's called that.
Mm.
I'll just ask my mom.
Yep.
She has
Put
it somewhere.
name of movie here.
It's like maybe it's that right
Or
there,
here. Or
or
here.
there, or everywhere. Maybe, maybe above my head. Maybe above your head. It's a
Maybe
movie
here.
name right there.
Maybe there.
Maybe there. Maybe
Yep.
there. Right in front of you. But yeah, that one it's like I like that movie. I
hmm
wonder if it's a book. Be great.
Probably. mm, I mean, I can't say if it is or not because I
Yeah.
haven't.
I think there is a book called The Invisible Man. Think so.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's what other monster books that are like popular that are
Jekyll and
classical?
Hyde,
That yeah. Hmm.
which I've listened to the musical.
Ooh,
I watched the
yes.
one with I found the the full thing on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
with
It's good.
David Hasselhoff, that version of it.
David Hasselhoff.
I think he's Knight Rider.
Me looking up on my phone. David
Yeah,
Hasselhoff.
he's
David.
yeah, Knight Rider.
My phone is loading very
Yeah.
slowly.
Anyway, I watched that version of it on YouTube.
Oh crap! Yeah, him. Yeah, I watched
Yeah,
that
it
too.
was
Yeah,
actually he
it
I
did
thought it was
so well.
very good.
Yeah, I
But
agree with you.
everyone did amazing.
I agree. I agree with you on that. It is good. I like the one where he's like trying to like fight off. They're both fighting. Jekyll and Hyde both fighting
Mhm.
to see who like wins or something.
Yep.
And I'm just like just listening, and I'm just like it's just that's
Yeah.
amazing. I can't. Still, I could say we could. I guess we can count that. We can count that. I guess, even though if it's a
Like we
musical.
know the story.
Yes, we know.
For if
Yes, we
you know
know
the
the
strange
story.
case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yep.
Basically, Jekyll is a doctor who creates a serum
Yeah.
that gives him, this is probably the wrong term, like a split personality, which is Edward Hyde.
Think was
And
he
as
trying to not
Edward,
do
he
that?
does whatever he wants.
Was he like trying not to do that?
Um, I I haven't read the book, so I'm gonna go off of the musical version. Um,
Yeah. Well, let's just slip that
well,
in there.
he he makes a serum to actually help his father, and this is the musical. So he makes a serum to help his dad, but he has to test it. So he tests it on himself, and then it creates Edward Hyde.
And then he's like, "Well, that's not gonna work."
And then he spends the rest of the musical trying to fix it.
Yeah. Didn't he like? Didn't Hyde like saw like old lady and just killed her by stomping on her, like jumping on her? She fell and just jumped. He just jumped on her, just like a trampoline.
Um,
I think that's the different version.
I'm going off the David Hasselhoff version. I don't know. He stabs a lot of people,
Just a Hyde
especially
exists,
one character in particular. Right after she has a beautiful musical number.
bruh.
I don't
When you
know.
get a beautiful musical number, gets stabbed. Ugh.
It made like I was so upset. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
And the way he switches in the singing is
Like he
great.
did very good. He
And it's
did
like
good.
it's
Like
h-
that's not an
it's
easy.
like
It's not an easy part to
it's
play.
not. It's not. If I had to do that, no. It'll take a lot of like skill to just do that because it's like you have to go to there to there and you have to switch the like your voice or some
And
sort.
costume, yeah. and how
and then
basically,
costume.
yeah, two different characters. Yeah,
And then you have to like it's breathing. I'm gonna say just breathing in general.
yeah, you're playing a completely different person.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Oh,
like if people do like that, those like singing lines, because you're doing two different people, I think it'll be like you'd be out of breath and you have to have like walk backstage just to take a rest and a breather.
yeah.
That'd be nice. And then back you go on stage.
I think if I remember at the end of it, he wasn't like dripping sweat. You could definitely tell he had a good amount of condensation, and I was like, man, he must be exhausted.
And the part with like the lights too, the heat of the lights. Because when I was in band
Hmm.
and in for
Yeah,
concert
so.
band, the lights in like these in the theater area is very like hot. And it
Hmm.
sucks when you're wearing all black. Now you're
Oh
sweating.
man, yeah.
I was the front section because I played the flute. Just hot, hot,
Oh.
hot, hot. The teacher's like, you'll be fine. Hot, hot,
Oh.
hot, hot.
Yeah.
Water, air, let me
Yeah.
out.
Anyone who does musical theater, like hats off to them. Like they do good.
Yeah,
They do amazing.
yeah. And then they get all that great applause at the end. That means you did something good.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
What
yes, yes,
other
yes.
classics have we read? Hmm.
I think we went through all the ones on my list.
I think mine too.
Yeah.
I only had like a few. You can see it on my list. Do you
Yeah,
see it on my
yeah.
list?
I
It's just,
see. I'm looking at it.
just, just three.
Check, check, check. All right. Yeah.
Wow, look at
Unless
that.
there's any that come off the top of your head right now.
Nope, I got nothing so far.
Nope. I think we. I think that's it. Yeah.
Eh. We could say like maybe fairy tales, I guess. We could say like to both of us,
Yeah.
fairy tales.
Fairy tales. Yeah. Those are technically
Yeah,
classics.
yeah. What
So
calls
like
of a
any
classic?
fairy tale. Hmm.
Yeah, what calls for a classic book? Like how many years does it get to a classic book?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess that. Hmm. How I. Okay. Instead of like how many years it takes to be classic, I would look at it like as how like if we say we mentioned Dracula, it'd be like, oh, that's a classic because a lot of people know what it is. I would
Yeah, and it
say
came
that.
around
And
18th
Frankenstein,
century. Both
I
everything
think
was
so. I
18th
don't.
century.
We're not literature students.
Nope,
We're
nope.
just talking about
Yeah, we
books.
we just it's a
So,
nice thing to talk about. But here's the year. Smack.
yeah. So I guess a no like the no notoriety of the book makes it classic.
Yeah.
Like Dracula and Frankenstein,
Yeah.
those they're classics. So.
Yeah. Like for example, like there's Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. We're not going to go through all the whole drama of that, but for that those books, would those be
Mm,
classics? Because everyone knows it.
maybe in a few more years,
Maybe.
in a few more years. But
We could say maybe like
uh,
maybe in 30 years. I'm gonna say an estimate of 30 years, maybe it might become like a classic book.
maybe I
Who knows? Maybe
don't
100 more
I don't
years.
know. We don't know,
100,
guys.
maybe 100 more years. I think it'll get there. Couple
Maybe.
more. Maybe. Who knows? I think that's will be a classic. I guess. Maybe.
Mhm.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's like maybe over like 100. I think it'll be.
Maybe. What year was Dracula written?
I do not
Where
know.
did my Google go?
Oh, oh no. Google disappeared.
Like I had a taskbar button.
It just gone. It decided to go bye. And you're like, okay.
It was in 1897.
So my guess, I'm thinking maybe until it gets to 1987,
That
maybe
was
becomes a full class.
126 years ago.
I guess we're going to hundreds, I guess. Wait until the hundreds. They'll become classic.
So,
Maybe if you publish your book and wait for 100 years after you're dead, it'll become a classic
well,
book.
classic.
That's my quote of the day. Just as if you die, then you publish your book, maybe you'll get to classics.
Yeah, maybe it'll be classic.
Who knows? But yeah, what other questions? I think
Hmm.
that's just more of like, who knows? I think that's all. I think that's a good amount of talk about
I
best
think so. How long
books.
have we been going?
I do not know. Hold on. Almost an hour.
Oh, wow, okay.
I just like, woo, an hour.
I think we've done a good amount of talking about books.
Ah, yes.
Hopefully, we give you guys some good recommendations. And
Yes, yes.
again,
We're not experts.
we don't know what we're talking about. We're just talking about
Yeah.
what books we have read. So
Yeah. On my last episode of If AI is Dangerous or Not, that's a full-on research paper I
yeah,
did.
that was some
So,
research. No, you did that one for school, and yeah,
yeah,
congrats
I
on
did
that
that for
getting
school.
over 100 views. So
I know, and I realized how people are like liking, like not like I'm a person of seeing views than the likes. So if people like start watching, I'm like, okay, everyone likes this. Now I'm into
yeah,
podcast now, so now I have a podcast.
yeah. And if you have a recommendation for what you should talk about next, there's the comment section down below. If you
Yes,
want us to talk about something, or it doesn't have to
yes,
be you and me talking about something. It
yeah.
can
I'm gonna
be
have
somebody
different.
else and you talking about something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have different
So
guests on here. So like, I have a couple that I have on a notebook right now that I will be talking about. I just need to find people. But yeah. We would like to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Just, just type away. Easy, right down there, just existing, waiting for your responses. Because I do want to hear everyone's thoughts of like what literature you guys read and all that, and which books are good.
yeah, and
And
just
if we don't,
any general book recommendations as well.
yeah, you can even suggest like what I should talk about and who to bring guests with. Not famous YouTubers. I'm not that famous. That's not gonna work. I just work around what I have. But yeah, I think that's a good wrap up. So
I think so, yeah.
yeah, everyone have a
Thanks for
great day.
having me.
Yes, yes. I am. I'm very happy that I get to talk with you about
Hmm.
books because books are great of some sort of way. If there's people that don't like reading, it's okay. It's not for
It's
everyone.
not for everyone, but there
Yeah.
are books out there for you. You just gotta look.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. Say
alrighty.
bye bye. Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.